He was once a dutiful and brave hero, but now he must destroy the very world he once protected. Surprisingly, the Demon Lord has become the protector of humanity. This anime will shatter your perceptions, telling the story of Leo, the hero who turns from guardian to destroyer. At the story's beginning, when the demon army launches a massive invasion, the king orders Leo and a group of elites to confront them. However, his teammates are too weak, even hindering his performance. Leo decides to challenge the entire demon army alone and effortlessly defeats the Demon Lord Echidna. Despite his achievements, Leo receives no cheers and is shunned by the people, as he is considered too powerful, even more terrifying than the Demon Lord. Some even speculate that he could become the next Demon Lord. Numerous assassins are sent to kill Leo, but they pose no threat to him. This only brings him immense sorrow. In everyone's eyes, a hero too strong is a menace. To deal with public sentiment, the king has no choice but to exile Leo from the country. The dismissed hero, Leo, begins a purposeless wandering journey until one night, he hears that the Demon Lord is recruiting. "If the world wants me dead, then I will destroy it." So Leo heads to the Demon Lord's castle. Upon facing the defeated Demon Lord and his 4 generals, Leo openly declares his intentions. The result is predictable, given the sorry state of the Demon Lord's castle, thanks to Leo. Rejected, he does not give up and kneels before the 4 generals, seeking refuge. To prove his strength and usefulness, Leo proudly recounts his victories over them. Against the tank General Edwald, he only needed to use magic to exhaust him. Against the swift General Melnus, he defended while waiting for the right moment to launch a massive attack. Against the adorable General Lily, he defeated her with a single gesture, only to regret it later due to a tribal tradition that demands she marry her conqueror. The last one, General Shutina, a mage, was defeated by Leo using a spell-sealing magic. With no mana, she was harmless. Even now, Shutina insists it was unfair, questioning how anyone could seal all magic. At this point, the 4 generals asked Leo why a great hero would seek refuge with their demon race. Leo shared his tragic experiences with them. Lily was moved to tears upon hearing this, and the others also felt pity for his plight. They ultimately decided to hire Leo, but on a trial basis for 1 month. If he failed to produce results, he would be immediately dismissed. Thus, to seek revenge against humans and to help the demon race regroup, hero Leo started working for Demon Lord Echidna. To become a permanent employee as soon as possible, Leo woke up early the next day, full of energy. However, he found that his succubus supervisor was still sleeping in. He thought of a clever idea: to imitate the voice of Demon Lord Echidna. This trick actually worked. When Shutina realized it was Leo playing a prank, she was instantly furious. Seeing the dense list of tasks, Leo could somewhat understand Shutina's difficulties. One important task was to replenish the magic furnace with magic. Since Shutina had built the furnace, only she could replenish it without rejection from other types of magic. Leo suggested he take over this task and disguised himself as a dark knight to keep his identity hidden, as the Demon Lord was unaware of his trial employment. However, only 30 minutes later, Leo snuck back, being lazy. Shutina, unable to stand this, tried to pull him up, but couldn't move him due to the gravity magic he had applied to himself. Seeing his lazy attitude, Shutina concluded he was completely useless and was about to punish him right there when a knock on the door interrupted her. A girl walked in and reported on the usage of amulets, saying she could now replenish the magic furnace for Shutina. It turned out Leo hadn't been idle. He had infused a purple crystal with the same magical wavelength as Shutina's, creating an amulet that could harmonize magic. He then distributed it to several female subordinates. Wearing this amulet allowed them to automatically match Shutina's magic. Leo taught her a lesson about teamwork and not doing everything alone. He didn't inform her beforehand to avoid unnecessary worry, which made Shutina embarrassed. Leo then explained that he hadn't been lazy recently and listed a work schedule, delegating several tasks to his subordinates. This would save a lot of trouble. Touched by his thoughtfulness, Shutina was moved. That evening, Shutina called him to her room alone, asking him to supervise Lily. Thanks to Leo's actions, their demon race was short on both troops and supplies, so Lily had to handle the procurement. Though Edwald could have done it, his over-consideration for his subordinates meant he would end up handling everything himself, preventing Lily from learning. After learning about the situation, Leo unhesitatingly accepted the job. The next day, he arrived at the Dragonkin's habitat to supervise Lily as she moved supplies. Although she was one of the 4 generals, her mentality was like that of a young child. She even started a racing game with her subordinates, causing chaos among the Dragonkin, who were full of complaints. Leo had to clean up after her. Worn out, he allowed his subordinates to rest at will. The task, which could have been completed in 2 days by playing to everyone's strengths, was now worryingly inefficient. Feeling exhausted, Leo caught Lily's attention, who thought he was unwell and wanted to find a doctor. Seeing her concern, Leo came up with an idea. He pretended to be bitten by a venomous snake, acting as if he were in critical condition, and lured Lily to the western mountains to gather herbs. The naive Lily fell for it. Leo then summoned a magical eye to monitor her, having set up many obstacles along the path to the mountain that she couldn't overcome alone, aiming to teach her how to cooperate with her subordinates. In a hurry, Lily transformed into Fenrir and quickly encountered the first obstacle, a giant stone immune to physical attacks. She needed a magic-using subordinate to pass, but unexpectedly, she broke through it with brute force. At the second obstacle, an endlessly multiplying slime, only by killing the core slime could she proceed. This required sensitive subordinates, but the core slime was accidentally crushed by its peers. Frustrated, Leo had to intervene himself. The third obstacle was a cliff too wide to jump. Even for the divine wolf Lily, Leo disguised himself as a bard and coaxed her to find a flying subordinate. Seeing Lily turn back, he thought she had finally become wise. However, she just ran back to ask her subordinates for solutions, not to seek their assistance. Driven by determination, Lily broke through all the remaining obstacles alone. Leo felt frustrated, as his well-intentioned plan didn't achieve the expected results. However, he appreciated her efforts in gathering the herbs. Lily handed him a plan that depicted how different races could efficiently divide work. She mentioned being inspired by a bard. Lily knew she wasn't very smart, but without someone explaining these concepts, she wouldn't have understood them. At that moment, Leo realized that the foolish one was not Lily, but himself. He had wanted her to understand the importance of teamwork. He should have simply explained it to her directly instead of taking such a roundabout approach. Ashamed, Leo sincerely praised her.
協力するって大切だなと思いました。
She is a kind and great demon lord who risks her life coming to the human world for her country and people, all to obtain the Philosopher's Stone that can grant wishes. Despite being an invader, she forbids her subordinates from killing needlessly and seeks to negotiate peace with humans. One day, Leo suddenly receives a summon from the demon lord, fearing his cover is blown. It turns out Shutina had praised Leo's recent active performance to the demon lord, prompting a boss to want to meet such an outstanding employee. However, Leo remains anxious.
おお、そなたが鬼キスか。そなたの働きっぷり、シュティーナから聞いておるぞ。
Echidna, unaware of Leo's true identity, treats him with great hospitality. The atmosphere when they are alone makes Leo very nervous. Seeing him constantly wearing a helmet, Echidna thinks he's being too formal and personally helps him remove it. Leo has slightly altered his appearance, and thinking Echidna is getting too close, he fears the worst. Yet she does not recognize him. To escape quickly, Leo tries to intoxicate her with fine wine, but unknowingly, she is a heavy drinker, unaffected by alcohol. Meanwhile, Shutina worries about Leo's situation. Although often teased and tricked by him, she acknowledges his helpfulness. However, when Lily overhears this, the proud Shutina argues and denies her previous statements. The drinking session between the two unknowingly lasted several hours. During this time, Leo noticed Echidna's great appreciation for talent and casually mentioned the hero, Leo. Upon hearing the name, Echidna immediately became angry.
あんなのを魔王軍に入れたが最後、組織が内側から崩壊するわ。
She despised Leo because his interference had prevented her from obtaining the Philosopher's Stone, a treasure located in the Holy City. It was rumored to turn wastelands into greenery, and grant people disease-free immortality, though these rumors were mostly false. Leo, having used a similar philosopher's stone, knew its magical powers were not accessible to everyone. Curious, Leo asked Echidna what she planned to do with the stone, a question he had long pondered. Despite being defeated by him and losing many troops, she remained fixated on the stone. Echidna responded by describing the dire state of their demon world. Barren lands, a bleak and lifeless environment where people fought over scarce resources. She wanted to establish order in this chaotic realm, using the stone's power to create a world with warm sunshine, beautiful rivers, lush grasslands, and forests. Although her efforts were thwarted by the hero Leo, she didn't truly hate him, since his duty as a hero was to protect humanity and defeat the invaders. After some time conversing, Leo realized that Echidna was a fundamentally good demon lord, forced to become an invader for her homeland and people. Seeing her so open with him, Leo decided not to hide his identity any longer. However, their conversation was interrupted by two flustered individuals. Shutina handed the demon lord 2 resignation letters. It turned out that 2 of the demon lords had decided to resign. One went traveling and could not be contacted, and the other planned to take his own life due to failing to educate his subordinates. It seems being a demon lord is not easy, losing not only to the hero, but also facing resignations and strikes from subordinates. Just after discussing her grand visions, Echidna received this distressing news. Given the army's current dire state, they could not afford to lose 2 major generals. Thus, they split up to investigate the reasons behind these decisions. Leo followed the residual magical energy to find Melnus, who initially did not recognize him in disguise. Leo quickly reverted to his original form, avoiding a fight. The two sat down by the river, where Leo began to lecture him. Without understanding the reasons first, Leo discreetly used a magic chain to tie him up, considering Melnus was known as the Shadowless General, who could escape if he truly wanted to. After some therapeutic conversation, Leo learned about Melnus's troubles. It turned out he had social anxiety and was to act as an interviewer in 3 days, hiring eloquent staff. He had hoped to gain experience through traveling. Now that Leo had found him, Melnus asked him to teach him communication skills within 3 days. Although it might be harder than defeating the entire demon army, Leo agreed. Later, Leo reported Melnus' situation to the demon lord and found out about Edwald, who had planned to commit seppuku but failed, wasting resources because his skin was too thick for ordinary weapons to harm him. His daughter Juliet was now looking after him. The best way to learn was through practice. Leo took Melnus to the demon castle's cafeteria to work as a waiter. Interacting with customers, he gained experience in communication. However, Melnus did not understand why he had to wear women's clothes. Leo explained that it was to consider the subordinates' feelings. Knowing their boss was serving them could make them uneasy while eating. During a conversation, several werewolves came to order. Melnus kindly asked for their needs, but they became presumptuous, wanting to taste a woman, and reached out with their paws. They were quickly knocked down by Melnus, and when their companions tried to help, they too were subdued. No one dared to bother him after that. After a busy day, Leo decided to test Melnus' practical results by posing as an applicant in a mock interview with Melnus. The first question stumped Leo.
人類を滅ぼすために魔王軍に入りたいってあれ、嘘でしょ。
But instead of answering directly, he began to share his own origin story. It was a tale spanning over 1,000 years, from a time when humanity thrived in an era of advanced mechanical civilization, living under the protection of high-tech creations in almost complete peace and stability. However, one day, a group of demons burst forth from the ground, attacking people and things recklessly. They came from the dark demon world, seeking the warmth of the sun. Faced with the demonic invasion, humans did not cower, but united to resist the external threat. The war between humans and demons quickly spread worldwide. Humans, being flesh and blood, were ultimately too weak. Thus, leaders from various nations gathered to discuss the survival of humanity. In a tit-for-tat approach, they developed 12 bioengineered soldiers by implanting demon cells into humans. These soldiers, capable of autonomous operation and infinite growth, were named the Demon Heart series. From birth, they were instilled with the mission to save the world and protect humanity. These 12 warriors continuously fought against demons until they died one by one. Only one survived, and he was the hero, Leo. Melnis found this hard to believe. Leo also revealed that he had defeated the previous demon lord, surprising Melnis further. Wasn't that centuries ago? How old are you now? Leo didn't know. He stopped counting his age after reaching 1,000. As a traveler through time, Leo experienced the fall of the technological civilization and the birth of the magical civilization. Over these long years, he was made so strong that he could not die and had to follow the commands implanted in him, until one day he heard the words, "No need for a hero. Kill that guy." Rather than feeling sad, he saw it as an opportunity to shed his heroic identity. Regarding Melnis's questioning, "Did you really join the Demon Lord's army to destroy humanity?" Leo himself was conflicted. After all, if he truly wanted to do so, he could have easily accomplished that alone. Rather than saying he helped the Demon Lord's army to get revenge on humanity, it's more accurate to say he was looking for a purpose to live or simply a place to belong. Although Shutina often acts haughty, she is a calm and astute woman. While Lily is playful and not very bright, she is serious and a good kid at heart. Edwald may be simple-minded and straightforward, but he is extremely responsible towards his subordinates. Although Melnis is a cold assassin, he possesses emotions appropriate for his age. As for the Demon Lord Echidna, she has an incredibly broad-minded nature. Though these individuals may seem foolish, they are genuinely kind-hearted, kind enough that Leo is willing to make an effort for them. Thus, Leo has decided to help them obtain the Philosopher's Stone. Unknowingly, the two talked for a long time. Leo was also somewhat puzzled as to why he shared so much with Melnis. Perhaps this was exactly what he hoped for, someone who would listen to his concerns. Once Melnis's question was addressed, it was the turn of the simplistic Edwald. To make his subordinates as strong as himself, Edwald had them train against S-class magical beasts. However, the disparity in strength was too great, and they were thoroughly defeated. Yet Edwald thought the subordinates he trained were useless, blaming himself for not teaching them well, leading him to contemplate ritual suicide. The next day, Juliet came to find Leo and told him about her father's actions, complaining about how outrageous they were to expect a group of new recruits to defeat an S-class beast. When they failed, he blamed their lack of effort. Although such a feat was a piece of cake for Edwald, it was an unreasonable demand for ordinary soldiers. After hearing Juliet's story, Leo quickly understood that Edwald lacked the ability to put himself in others' shoes, assuming that what he could achieve, others could as well. This is a typical mindset of the strong. Juliet asked Leo for help because most of the soldiers were feeling unwell under Edwald's rigorous training. Leo confidently agreed to help. After returning to his room and reading Lily's report, he suddenly had a great idea. However, before he could implement it, the Demon Lord summoned him. It turned out Edwald was causing trouble again. Having failed to commit suicide, he now suddenly announced his resignation to start over as a regular soldier. Leo was speechless when he heard this. Echidna was about to seek his advice but then held back. Leo stated he had a clever plan and promised to resolve the situation perfectly. Later, they went to the cave mentioned in Lily's report where they discovered a mechanical golem. This mecha, a product of the mechanical age, was a forbidden weapon created to combat superior demons and the Demon Lord. Leo planned to use it to teach Edwald a lesson. Facing an enemy they had never seen before, everyone was understandably nervous. At Edwald's command, the soldiers reluctantly attacked, but their efforts were ineffective. Just when the mecha stopped, seemingly due to malfunction from being buried underground for years, it was actually preparing a powerful attack. Luckily, Leo quickly reacted, shielding them from the attack, which could have killed everyone present. Leo blocked another attack, and seeing this, the soldiers fled in terror. However, Edwald did not retreat and charged forward, almost getting split in half. Leo then explained the mecha's characteristics and attack methods, which Edwald admitted he did not understand, having never fought such a thing before. But this was exactly the effect Leo wanted. Following the plan, Juliet informed her father that the mecha's weakness was in its abdomen. Edwald successfully defeated it based on this tip. Just when Leo thought the matter was resolved, the mecha emitted an alarm signal. Leo quickly sent a magical eye to investigate and found it was a signal for reinforcements. Handling one was tough enough. Several would be disastrous. Just as Leo was about to handle it himself, he received a notification from Echidna. She had arrived at the cave with the other 3 heavenly kings and instructed Leo to continue with the plan while they handled the situation. Afterwards, Leo severely reprimanded Edwald using the method he used to educate his subordinates, which seemed to enlighten the stubborn man. During a debate between Juliet and Leo, Edwald finally realized his mistake and sincerely apologized to his subordinates. Meanwhile, Echidna was in a frenzy, easily crushing these ancient relics as if they were mere ants, despite not being able to defeat the incredibly strong hero. As a bioengineered human specifically designed to combat demons, Leo was programmed from birth to protect the world and knew no other purpose in life. Everything changed when he met a unique demon that altered his life's course. One day, while Leo was reading in his room, Shutina suddenly knocked on his door to convey that due to the Black Knight's exceptional performance in the demon army, the Demon Lord had decided to promote him to an officer rank. This meant Leo's true identity might not remain hidden for long. Shutina advised Leo to keep his identity secret and follow her instructions, warning that angering Echidna could undermine all their efforts. She then expressed her doubts about whether they could really obtain the Philosopher's Stone. Leo, although acknowledging the difficulty, promised to do his utmost to help. After Shutina left the room, Leo reflected on the book in his hands, recalling the events from thousands of years ago when humans created 12 bioengineered human weapons to resist demon invasions. These beings were not only powerful, but also capable of infinite self-improvement. As member number 5 of the Demon Heart series, Leo received a message from his superiors about a strange demon in a certain region promoting coexistence with humans. Upon arriving, he found the demon as described in the intelligence reports, a weak creature with no desire to fight, claiming it wanted to live peacefully with humans. Facing the expressionless Leo, Ebrard, the demon, was visibly frightened and kept making conversation to secure a chance to survive. He explained the reason behind their invasion of the human realm. The demonic world was in constant turmoil over scarce resources, leading to violent conflicts among its own kind. Consequently, the demon lord Beria decided to seek a new home, opening a portal to the human world. Originally intended for an uninhabited island, the portal unfortunately opened in the center of a city, leading to rampant destruction by the aggressive demons and escalating into a war between humans and demons. Ebrard, driven by curiosity, had followed the portal to the human realm, hoping to witness its beautiful environment. However, he saw only massive, unsettling gray tombstones. Disappointed and wanting to return to the demonic realm, Ebrard was shocked to find the portal back had been closed. He soon realized that they, the weaker demons, had been abandoned. After hearing the information provided by Ebrard, Leo decided not to kill him for the time being. He prepared to take him to the prisoner reception unit. During the journey, Leo remained silent, making Ebrard extremely nervous. Fearing he could be killed at any moment, Ebrard struck up another conversation, asking Leo for his name and explaining the importance of sharing one's name with others. Although he didn't understand what Ebrard was saying, Leo introduced himself. Upon hearing Leo's situation, Ebrard felt pity for him. Leo had dedicated his life to protecting the world, but once the war ended and peace was restored, they would become worthless, ending up without a place to belong. Leo had never thought about the meaning of his existence. He believed he just needed to follow orders. Perhaps he would sacrifice himself before he ever experienced humanity, as he was the weakest of the 12. Ebrard was shocked, finding it incredible that someone so strong was still the weakest. Humans were truly astounding to have created such formidable beings. Eventually, they reached their destination. Now unable to return to the demonic world, Ebrard resigned himself to his fate, deciding to live here and continually advocate for peaceful coexistence between demons and humans. He also wanted Leo to remember his name, signifying that he would become a symbol of peace between the two races. Ebrard's words deeply inspired Leo. If one day he found life too painful, he should try to escape everything and do what he wanted. Leo learned this lesson from their conversation. Thousands of years later, Ebrard became a historical figure written about in books, and Leo always regarded him as his mentor. Today, he was determined to implement this idea and do what he wanted, deciding to reveal his true identity to Echidna and his real purpose for joining the demon army. However, he was interrupted again. A subordinate suddenly brought bad news that the spiritual cave connecting the human and demonic realms was about to close. Although Leo and a few others managed to stabilize it with their magic, it might not last more than 7 days. Once the spiritual cave closed, they would be unable to return to the demonic realm. Reopening a portal large enough for an entire army to pass through might take hundreds or even thousands of years, so they needed to find a solution within 7 days. Shutina presented 2 options. The first was to withdraw all troops to the demon realm before the spiritual cave closed, but this would mean disbanding the newly assembled army. The second option was to immediately lead an attack on the holy city to seize the sage's stone. Echidna found this choice unfeasible given the current state of the demon army, anticipating a grueling battle, especially with the hero, Leo, on the opposing side. Without that extraordinarily powerful monster, it might have been easier. Reluctantly, Echidna chose to retreat to the demon realm. Lily tried to speak about Leo's situation but was stopped by Shutina, making Echidna believe it was out of consideration for her. Shutina, having grown up under her wing, understood Echidna's desire to obtain the sage's stone. Echidna had hoped it would be the light at the end of the tunnel to change the dire situation in the demon realm. She had studied from a young age, and upon becoming the queen of the demon realm, came to the human world full of hope to find the omnipotent stone that could grant any wish. Now, all seemed to end abruptly, and she had to start over and find another way. Meanwhile, Leo decided to no longer hide his identity and explained that the sage's stone was not a magical wish-granting artifact, but a piece of ancient mechanical civilization technology that used a quantum black hole to provide magic semi-permanently. To use it, one would first need to find the manual lost in the human world, which humans had been searching for years without success. Echidna expressed a desire to reconcile with humans and search for the manual together. However, the thought of both sides competing for the same item made her doubt this plan's viability. Leo continued, revealing that there were actually 2 sage's stones in the human world, which could meet their respective needs. At this moment, Echidna realized something was amiss. As she turned and saw the man before her, she was visibly confused, and those around her were also anxious. Before Echidna could respond, Leo explained his true reason for joining the demon army was to see for himself if Echidna was truly worthy of the sage's stone. After their last drinking session, and hearing her heartfelt words, Leo became convinced that Echidna was worthy of the sage's stone. When the subject of drinking came up, Echidna had an epiphany. She realized that the person she had confided in was actually her arch-enemy. This drove her mad. She couldn't believe that the Black Knight she favored was actually her opponent in disguise. Everyone else knew, except for her. Echidna was furious. Lily and Shutina quickly intervened to calm her down. Then they took turns pleading on Leo's behalf, highlighting his contributions to the demon army. Seeing her subordinates' support for him, Echidna decided to hold off on pursuing the matter further. She asked Leo if there really was another sage's stone. Leo confidently confirmed that it was located in the mountain range ahead, guarded by a powerful sentinel. Echidna did not yet grasp his meaning. Later, Leo led them toward the destination. The cold weather made Lily shiver, prompting Shutina to cast a spell to protect her from the cold. Echidna complained to Leo about not teleporting them directly. Leo said he wanted to take the time to talk with her. He reiterated that the sage's stone was not a wish-granting artifact. He urged Echidna to reconcile with humans and search together for the user manual hidden in the human realm, as it was necessary to activate the stone. Leo also told Echidna that humans and demons could understand each other, and the stories in the book were true, though difficult to realize. Echidna confidently stated that as the queen of the demon realm, no matter how difficult it was, or how many times she needed to reconcile with humans, she could easily manage it. Her firm stance eased Leo's concerns. The atmosphere then seemed too serious, so Leo lightened the mood with a teasing comment that sparked Echidna's anger, and they started a snowball fight. Seeing the two getting along so well, their subordinates also felt relieved. On the way, Echidna expressed her doubts about why Leo was so knowledgeable about the technology from 3,000 years ago. Leo revealed that he was a bioengineered being, specifically number 5 of the Demon Heart series, endowed with nearly eternal life and the ability to infinitely self-improve. He could mimic the abilities of any combatant he faced. Over 3,000 years, he had amassed power equivalent to hundreds of thousands of armies. Echidna regretted opposing such a formidable entity. Although programmed to protect humanity, Leo also feared losing his purpose if the world became peaceful. He was terrified of losing his sanity in search of meaning, potentially plunging the world into chaos and becoming a being more terrifying than any demon lord. He urged Echidna to think of a solution. As Leo spoke, the others caught up, but they saw no guardian. At this moment, Leo turned and revealed that the Sage's stone was inside him, part of his Demon Heart series core, powered by an infinite energy device called the Akashic Engine. To obtain the Sage's stone, one would have to kill him and extract his heart. Leo's words stunned everyone. He then repeated the phrase he had used when he first applied for his position, but this time, he declared his intention to leave the demon army and personally exterminate humanity.
賢者の意志が欲しければ、世界を守りたいならば、俺を止めてみせろ!
Faced with Leo's sudden betrayal, Echidna and the others were bewildered and unsure of his intentions. Without explaining further, Leo attacked Echidna. Despite being created to protect the world, Leo felt he had no purpose if humanity no longer needed him. He was determined to make them recognize his value, even if it meant destroying the world to save it. Echidna could not comprehend his logic. If everything ended in nothingness, wouldn't that be better? To destroy the world he was meant to protect seemed justifiable to her. Leo attacked Echidna again, but Edwald blocked him and tried to persuade Leo to stop his foolish actions. Shutina also argued that they had no reason to fight. Their words only enraged Leo further. He easily broke free from their control and violently kicked Edwald several meters away, then furiously rebuked Shutina. But Shutina, who had been helped by them, could not bring herself to harm Leo. She believed that even if Leo's heart was the Sage's stone, there was no need for them to kill each other. Why not cooperate as they had before? However, Leo stated that if they did not kill him, they would only face death. He then launched a magical attack at Shutina, which Edwald blocked completely. Even though he was protected by his incredibly tough dragon scales, Edwald was still seriously hurt. Leo vented his frustration and despair, declaring that he did not need his super growth abilities or his immortal guardianship. He just wanted a place to belong, even if it meant death. Echidna could not understand his feelings. Leo planned to destroy both the humans and demons who had created him. Thus, he decided to resign from his role as a hero. Countless light swords appeared in the air, and then, like raindrops, they fell from the sky, turning the ground into a mess. Echidna was frightened, realizing they were not capable of confronting him in their current state, especially since her magical core, shattered by Leo, had not yet recovered. Confused and overwhelmed, Lily stepped forward to persuade Leo to stop. She offered to listen to his troubles, just as he had listened to and resolved hers on the island. Seeing Leo lower his sword, everyone thought he might be reconsidering. However, his response was Leo's merciless attack on a defenseless little girl completely enraged Echidna, who believed he was unworthy of being a hero. She angrily launched an attack on Leo, with Shutina chanting magic behind her. Together, they managed to land a heavy blow on Leo, but it had no effect. Even the highest level magic couldn't harm him, which Echidna found unbelievable. Seeing they were finally fighting him seriously, Leo mockingly egged them on. Edwald too decided to use his full strength, saying that although he considered Leo a friend, he would end him if he continued down the wrong path. Yet, when Edwald swung with all his might, Leo caught the blade with his bare hands. He had already devised a way to counter Edwald's incredibly tough dragon scales and kicked him several meters away. Echidna and Shutina teamed up against Leo again, but he remained unscathed, displaying an ease that came from his ability to copy his opponent's power and grow indefinitely. His resistance to attacks also increased with the damage he received, making it harder to hurt him. Realizing this, Echidna saw that continuing the fight was very disadvantageous for them. Melnus attempted a surprise attack from behind, but Leo easily dodged it. Melnus questioned his contradictory motives, pointing out that if Leo truly wanted to destroy the world, he didn't need to join the demon army and could have done so alone. Yet, he had worked diligently within the demon army. When Melnus tried to express his real thoughts, Leo froze him into an ice sculpture. Then, Lily, awakening and transforming into Fenrir, reluctantly engaged Leo in battle, intent on stopping his rampage. However, the disparity in strength was too great, and Lily was soon knocked unconscious again. Witnessing her subordinates being defeated one by one, Echidna felt the full terror of Leo's power. She realized that if they continued like this, they had no chance of victory. Not only would their entire force be wiped out, but there would also be no future for both the human and demon worlds. Echidna no longer hesitated and decided to use her last resort. She communicated with Shutina telepathically, instructing her to hold Leo for 42 seconds. This secret technique, passed down from generation to generation of demons, was developed to defeat powerful heroes. It could temporarily seal all of an opponent's abilities, but the success rate was very low and it required all the user's magical power. Shutina understood that Leo's actions were not truly intended. She believed he did not want to destroy the world, but instead felt helpless about himself. Fearing he might actually do such things in the future, he pretended to be the villain, forcing them to kill him while he still had his sanity. Leo did not argue against this. Echidna then cast the hero sealing spell on Leo, expecting him to dodge it. However, Leo stood still, making no attempt to avoid it. He even expressed gratitude, as this was the ending he had scripted and hoped for. As a tragic hero, Leo grappled with the contradiction between his inescapable duty and the meaning of his existence for 3,000 years. From the moment of his birth, he was burdened with the absolute command to save the world. For this, he continuously wielded his sword until he met a unique demon who changed his perception of his purpose. He realized that even the fiercest wars eventually end. However, this period of peace lasted too long, and people gradually stopped needing heroes. This made him feel as though he had lost his reason for existing. For Leo was a weapon born for war, only truly feeling alive in the midst of battle. Time swiftly passed, and Leo unknowingly lived through hundreds, even thousands of years. He traveled the world, fighting to protect humanity. Due to the Heart of the Demon series concept of super growth, capable of copying all an opponent's moves, Leo naturally became invincible after countless battles, and no one could kill him. What awaited him then was a prolonged peace, but he was not pleased by this. Instead, he longed for the world to fall into crisis again, hoping everyone would once again face despair. This desire to prove his worth became increasingly intense, leading to a severe bug in his programming. It dawned on Leo that since there was no current crisis, he might as well create one. Although the system had a rebellion mechanism preventing him from harming humans, this function had unknowingly been disabled during his self-growth. He planned to revive his old comrades to create chaos in the world, so he could protect humanity. But in the next moment, Leo abruptly realized how absurd his actions were. To satisfy his desires, he was planning to toy with other people's lives. Leo believed that such behavior completely disqualified him from being a hero. The command to protect humanity echoed relentlessly in his mind. However, he understood that the real villain he needed to defeat was himself, an entity even worse than a demon lord. Leo devised a plan. First, he would relinquish his role as a hero and find someone both worthy of inheriting the Sage's Stone and capable of protecting humanity. He would then ask this individual to end his life. At this time, a unique figure emerged among the demons. Despite coming to invade the human realm, the demon lord Echidna forbade her subordinates from harming innocents and sought to achieve her goals peacefully. Having lived so long, Leo had never seen such a demon lord. He captured some minions to gather information and learned that Echidna had come to the human realm reluctantly to save her own world. Although she launched an invasion, she prohibited her forces from harming humans and personally led them on the front lines. From the minions, Leo sensed that she was a respected and kind-hearted demon lord. Perhaps she was worthy of the Sage's Stone, could inherit his legacy, and might even serve as a bridge for peace between humans and demons. To confirm this, Leo embarked on his final journey, planning to visit the Demon Lord's castle for a meeting. First, he wanted to assess the character of Echidna's top generals and whether they could be trusted. By fighting them, Leo realized they were utterly loyal, willing to sacrifice their lives to fulfill their leader's wishes. Next, he tested Echidna by attempting to join the demon army to listen to her ideas up close and ensure she was the right person to entrust with his heart. After transferring the sage's stone, he could peacefully choose death. This was Leo's absurd suicide script. Although the sealing spell successfully hit Leo, it also caused significant harm to Echidna. After all, she was single-handedly suppressing the power Leo had accumulated over 3,000 years. She could only seal him for 6 seconds at most, with no possibility of a second chance. Leo felt an unfamiliar pain, but was not afraid. Instead, he smiled because he was finally able to die. At this moment, Echidna also seemed to be reaching her limit, yet she maintained a determined expression. She didn't understand why Leo looked at her with such eyes. She had been curious ever since she heard his name, which coincided with the magic used against heroes. This sealing magic was invented by a demon lord centuries ago, and humans couldn't possibly live that long. It was confirmed when she learned Leo was born in the era of mechanical civilization. It turned out that for 3,000 years, the heroes who fought against various demon lords were all this very same tragic man. He had lost companions and a place to belong, and didn't even have a place to end his life. Yet, he still protected humanity alone. This was the hero Leo, a lonely time traveler. A person can only do so much alone, but with a group of trustworthy companions, it might be different. Leo felt ashamed of this, as he had always been a loner, dedicating his life to protecting humanity. Yet, no one had reached out to help him. Echidna spoke out against this injustice. Since no one else would do it, they would. Echidna decided to end it all and fulfill Leo's wish. The invincible hero Leo finally fell. Everyone's feelings were indescribable. Echidna vented her unresolved emotions by shouting. Several people, injured, gathered around, and Leo was in this pitiful state. Echidna realized he was acting deliberately. A large incision was made in Leo's chest, revealing the sage's stone. He used his only authority to stop his energy supply. For the next 300 seconds, Leo would be completely vulnerable. The sage's stone could be easily removed with the effort it takes to twist off a bottle cap. Melnus wanted to fulfill his wish, but Lily stopped him. Seeing him look this way, Echidna seemed to understand. From the start, Leo never intended to kill anyone or destroy the world. He only wanted to sacrifice himself for peace between humans and demons. Echidna asked him if he had any last words. Leo said he had no regrets. Echidna slowly approached him, while the others tensed up nearby. Leo quietly faced his own death. However, the sage's stone was not removed. Instead, he was slapped. Echidna declared she was done, proclaiming herself the mighty demon queen, too noble to be bothered with protecting human peace. This left Leo dumbfounded, not expecting such a turn of events. Echidna formally offered to hire him, no longer a hero. Leo warned that time was running out, urging Edwald nearby to act quickly. But Edwald would only follow the demon queen's wishes. He believed that only Leo, who had lived for 3,000 years, could bridge humans and demons. These people frustrated Leo. Lily grabbed him, demanding to know why he sought death, and threw his own teachings back at him. Leo urged haste to avoid wasting his act. Seeing the composed Melnus, Leo trusted him not to be emotional, although Melnus was not good at expressing or listening. Through their fight, it was clear Melnus didn't want to die, angrily telling Leo to live well if he wanted to live. Shutina, always rational, would not engage in pointless actions. She noticed contradictions in Leo's words and asked him to repeat why he wanted to die. After Leo finished, even he realized there were issues. Many commands implanted after gaining consciousness had become ineffective. Why not make the "protect humanity" command ineffective too? Under Shutina's firm insistence, Leo decided to try. After struggling mentally for a while, he surprisingly deactivated the command. What he thought was an inescapable bond turned out to be his own voluntary choice to protect humanity as a hero. Echidna reminded him there were only 30 seconds left. If you still want to die, I'll oblige. It's your life, after all. You decide. These words reminded Leo of his mentor's teachings. Live your life as you wish. Don't be bound by a so-called mission. If one day humans no longer need you, find another meaning to live. As they talked and reflected, Leo's wounds gradually healed. Echidna invited him again to abandon his role as a hero and join the demon army. Now knowing what he wanted, Leo accepted her invitation. Thus, the drama Leo orchestrated came to an end, leaving everyone overjoyed. Instead of ending his life, the hero Leo ended his long, lonely years and was ready to start a new life. Leo returned to this place, which he had once destroyed, but which had also accepted him. Although his time there was not long, it brought him much joy. After carefully checking every place he had worked, Leo returned to the room where they celebrated last night and found everyone still unconscious, except Echidna, who was lying seductively on the sofa. She claimed to be a heavy drinker and was surprised to be out-drunk by the former hero. Recalling their initial interview, Echidna finally understood that it was not Leo who was being tested, but the demon army. She asked if Leo regretted giving up his chance for release, but Leo only wanted to serve Echidna. Since their last drinking session alone, where he heard her heartfelt thoughts, he deeply wanted to help her fulfill her desires. He believed someone as naive and kind as her was not suited to be an aggressor and promised to help her continue being a kind demon queen. Suddenly, Juliet burst in, apologizing for the disruption. Realizing their proximity, the two quickly let go of each other. Echidna asked what was so urgent, and Juliet explained that some soldiers were unhappy with their treatment and were making a fuss. With a command from Echidna, the drunken soldiers immediately sobered up. Then, a mountain of work piled up, all seeking the Demon Queen's advice. Echidna told Leo that before considering the grand goal of human-demon coexistence, they must first solve the immediate problems and looked forward to his performance.
さーて